Today, we design our meal plan. Now we're going to break this down into roughly 5 stages. So for the first stage, you want to start building a schedule. Now we did this in an earlier chapter. So you want to put your schedule from Monday through Sunday and then kind of identify anything that you have to do, all the priorities. So write in when you go to work, when you go to school, anything at all that could take up some time. And then you're going to put in any other things that may affect you as well. So any stressful calls, any social gatherings, birthdays, office parties, anything like that. And you're going to start making the schedule with kind of everything that goes on in your world, emotionally, physically, socially. And and once you kind of have this idea of what a typical day looks like, you're going to find the best time for you to eat. Now, you can eat as much as you like, but for this one, I highly recommend kind of staying consistent with what you already do, even if it's unhealthy, like eating one time a day. Um, just identify when you eat now. So, I usually eat when I get to work, or, I eat right when I get home. And then are some people, construction workers generally, they don't eat all throughout the day. They just drink their coffees and soda. And then at the end of the day, they eat one really big meal. So identify what you normally do, put and find that time slot to make sure that you can put it in. You can try to add in a few snacks, things like that, and start building your day of when you eat breakfast, when you eat lunch, when you eat dinner, when you snack, and you can eat as much as you want. The next thing you're going to want to plan for in this week is your meal prepping. So take 2 to 3 hours here and try to identify a time when you can go grocery shopping, when you can cook all the foods, and then when you can kind of prepare and store everything. And then third one is in this time slot in the schedule, you want to look at when you can fit in an exercise. Hopefully every day. Sometimes you can break it down. Cardio is really good for that. So you could do 4 5-minute bursts for a 20-minute exercise and just do jumping jacks and burpees for 5 minutes, or some fun YouTube workout, or maybe dance, whatever it is, and then kind of break that in, and you can start building this in your schedule. Now, when it comes to choosing the foods that go into the time slot, this is kind of based on your goal, and most of everything is based on calories. So if you want to lose weight, you have to eat less calories than you put out. To gain weight, you have to take in more calories than you put out. And to maintain health, it's kind of about balancing vitamins, minerals, making sure you get plenty of hydration. The calories isn't as important as how nutrient dense the foods are. But you do want to kind of balance the calories with what your main level is. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how to find the right amount of calories. So this doesn't have to be very difficult. Go to a website. It's called calculator.net. It'll help you find all of the things we're going to cover. So the first thing you need to understand is how much calories does your body burn at rest, at its base level. What does it require to have everything inside you run perfectly? And this is called your basal metabolic rate. So you can go there, type in your height, weight, all those things, and it'll tell you how many calories you need for your base level. So then the next step is going to be adding in your activity level. So once you kind of understand how much it is there, and you look at your day for how active you are, how many times you exercise, this will give you a number that is how much you need to maintain your weight. Now, if your goal is weight loss, I highly recommend erring on the side of caution here. And if it says that you live an active life, let's say like me, you're a server in a restaurant, and it's like, oh, high activity. Thing is, your body adapts to that kind of workload and doesn't burn as much as somebody who's new to that field. So I always knock it down a few notches, and even though I'm pretty active, I still put it at sedentary. And that helps me to reach my goals. If your goal is muscle mass and our weight gain, let's say you're really skinny, have a high metabolism, you want to put that at very active. Even if you don't do anything but play video games all day, still put it at very active because you're going to require a lot of calories to grow. And of course, if your goal is health, I would just do it as it is. So, whatever your job is, add that into the activity and just kind of use that number to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Um, so, now when it comes to choosing the foods, I use an app called MyFitnessPal. You can use any calorie tracker. MyFitnessPal is great because there's a huge database of foods. It's super easy to use and it's free. You can upgrade to the premium version, and it just kind of gives you like times of when you eat and stuff. I don't use it. Most people I know don't, but it's probably pretty good for tracking. But what you want to do is start playing around with building what you typically eat in a day. Start learning the caloric value of everything you eat to kind of have an understanding. So let's say that you wake up and you have a donut, and you type that in, you see, oh wow, that's 350 calories. So now if your goal is weight loss, you can kind of start seeing which foods are taking up a big portion of that. So when you're meal planning, go ahead and put in what you normally eat. Small changes are going to lead to the biggest changes. So transform things little by little. So take a look at that. Take a look at what you eat, add the calories together, and then find ways to cut back. So you're going to start transforming these meals. So instead of a donut, you go with a whole grain muffin. Instead of regular whole milk, you go with 2% or skim, or even better, almond milk or cashew or one of those. I get cashew milk that's only 30 calories compared to 150 in whole milk, plus a lot less sugar, things like that. But that my goal is weight loss, so that's important. So definitely take a look at what you do. And in the workbook, I give you a really good chart on how to transform your meals. Things like if you get a burger from a fast food chain, and let's say you get the bacon cheeseburger, and you get this every day on your way home or every other day, and you want to start losing weight, just remove the bacon as step one, right? So it's something very small, not that important, and it should be something that's easy enough that you can do. Maybe remove the cheese from it, and that drops about 150, 200 calories. And you start slowly transforming all of these foods. And next thing you know, you're where you want to be. And really that's it. I mean, it's a lifestyle change. And that's really what it is. It's the whole secret to weight loss, muscle gain, and all of that with nutrition is just based on transforming what you currently do to a healthier lifestyle, to one that better helps you reach your goals. So the next thing is going to be to schedule this in with a way that you cannot forget. So if you want to eat 6 times a day, in your cell phone, put an alarm for each time you want to eat, or an alarm for drinking water at every interval, or an alarm for your exercise. You want this on your mind as much as possible. You don't want to forget about this. You want this to eventually become a habit where you don't need alarms. And that's the same thing with tracking your calories. At first, it's really difficult because you're going to have to remember to put it in. There's all these steps to take. But you're going to get to a stage where you can just see a food and pretty much know what it has. So start setting all these reminders and find ways to constantly be mindful of it. And then the last one is at the end of the week, or even at the end of the day, review what worked and what didn't work. And really start learning how your body works. Why were you able to stick to the goals you wanted? And why did you have setbacks? What happened in your life that caused it? What were you feeling emotionally? What social triggers were there? What happened that stopped you from having the life that you want? And as you review your week, at the end, every time you're like, wow, I noticed, Thursdays I don't generally go to the gym. Perfect, no worries. That's how you work. Stop scheduling workouts on Thursdays. And then you're going to find that you're going to make this a lot of fun. You're going to make this enjoyable. I'm not somebody who has these strict meal plans. I don't generally believe in meal plans like keto or intermittent fasting. I don't see them enjoyable. And I like to enjoy my life. I like to enjoy my food. I don't want to starve all day and have one meal, like intermittent fasting. And I definitely don't want to cut out carbs. I don't even think it's healthy to. I like carbs. And what about birthday parties? What about this? What about that? You know what? It doesn't work for me. And most of my clients, it hasn't worked for. A lot of them have tried it. Oh, I know this person who lost all this weight on the keto. They try it. And then the thing is, they can't stop eating carbs because everything has carbs. Instead, if they just transform their meals into something healthy, then they see all the changes, the same changes, but they're longer lasting. So when you carb load after not eating carbs, you don't gain all that extra weight. Um, and same with building muscle and everything. You definitely want to get as many foods in there. Now with foods, they're really broken down into three macronutrients. There's protein, there's fat, there's carbohydrates. I assume most people know what these are by now. They all play different roles in our body. They're all extremely important. I don't generally recommend any diet that excludes one or the other. You should have all of them. If your goal is muscle mass, though, you should have more protein than the other ones for the most part. You should have, what I mean by that is you should have at least 1 gram of protein per pound of weight, so that this helps your muscles repair after a really intense workout. And building muscle mass is definitely about nutrition. You should be hitting those calorie goals so that you have plenty of energy to rebuild. But it's also about the exercises. You also have to use really good principles, really good form, all these techniques for exercising that's going to help build those muscles. The next course I have is about exercising, where I kind of cover all of that. And the last thing I kind of want to talk about is vitamins and minerals. Now, if your goal is health, these are absolutely important. They're crucial for living a good life. They're crucial for everyone, whether your goal is weight loss or muscle mass, but it may not be your priority. But for health, understand that you can get almost all the vitamins and minerals you need from 2 to 3 foods. Eggs give you so much, right? They give you the right kind of amino acids, which are what proteins are. They give you tons of minerals and vitamins. And then you want something like kale or spinach, a dark leafy green. That's going to pretty much cover most of that list. Things like salmon gives you really healthy fats. And so you kind of want to start just adding in as many vegetables as you can to your meals. That's pretty much the secret to health. The more veggies you eat, the healthier you are, right? I mean, they contain so much that you don't really need to worry too much about breaking down all these micronutrients. If you're doing this professionally, then I highly recommend hiring a coach anyway. But for now, what you really need to understand is, if you're looking for health, add in vegetables. If you're looking for kind of an everything food, what I recommend is a spinach omelet. That it's really good. It covers everything you need. Kale or spinach omelet. Yeah, so try that. And then the last thing is all about fluid balance. So you have to understand the importance of staying hydrated. A lot of hunger cues are mistaken as hunger when they're actually thirst. And keep in mind, most drinks have a lot of calories. So like orange juice, apple juice, all these juices, pretty high in calories. So if your goal is weight loss, you have to be really careful with how much you drink. And alcohol is definitely terrible when it comes to all of them, whether you're weight loss, muscle mass, our health. It's definitely going to impede. If you can quit drinking entirely, there's nothing more I could recommend than that. One thing I do for my waters to kind of add nutrient value is I add lemons to it. So a nice lemon water. So you can definitely try that. So that's pretty much it when it comes to meal planning. It doesn't need to be complicated. Really, to kind of summarize this is understand how many calories you need and then adjust it. So say 300 calories less or more depending on what your goal is. and then add it into your schedule for when you eat, when you can meal prep, when you can exercise, and build a schedule that's realistic. Don't put in too much to your schedule that is overwhelming. Um, and then, yeah, just try to eat more vegetables with every meal. I like to build a plate. So 1/4 of it is protein, 1/4 of it is carbs. So like chicken, and then the carbs will be like rice or something. And then half a plate is vegetables, and then a small cup of fruit or something for a snack. You're pretty much getting everything you need, right? A big salad with chicken in it, great. You're lots of nutrients, plenty of protein. So that's pretty much it when it comes to meal planning. Doesn't need to be complicated. Tomorrow I'm going to be covering how to do all the meal preparations.